Thank you for staying with us. You're welcome back to the AM Weekend Show. Right now, we're going to be looking into our newspapers. We'll be checking out all that is happening on the front pages of our national dailies, beginning with this day. The Borders headline here says, Presidency, Shettima not fighting Tinubu over Fubara'S suspension. The writers say, President acted in good faith by suspending Rivers Governor. ADC asks Tinubu to recall Fubara. Shettima departs Abuja for Sao Tome today. All set for Lagos local government elections today. Also on this paper, NNPC hints at selling Nigeria's refineries, says rehabilitation becoming complex. Also on this paper, we have a headline that says, Tinubu backs Afrima 2025, FG inaugurates lock. That's what we have on this day.
And straight to the metrics, Borders headline says, it's D-Day as Lagos residents elect local government chairpersons, orders. Presidency debunks allegation of Shettima's criticism of emergency rule in Rivers State. 2017, rats in Aso Rock story was fabricated to deflect Buhari's health rumors. This is by Shehu admits. And in Edo, after Supreme Court's victory, Wobolo vows to probe Obaseki's administration. And lastly on this paper, if anything happens to me, my children, hold Lizzie and Jorin responsible, Iyabojo cries out.
Moving on to Saturday Times, the Borders headline says, ADC to Shettima, stand by your words. Tinubu has no power to remove Fubara. Another headline here says, only 20% Nigerians are food secured, says Agric Ministry. Omale criticizes BBL trend, calls it old-fashioned and unattractive. You find that on page 10. Coalition not a threat to PDP, Makinde declares. And finally, Golden Boot race fires up at WAFCON.
And straight to Weekend Trust, Borders headline says, ahead, neck. APC dangles chairmanship between North Central and Northwest. You can see the cartoon drawing. Our lives are police pensioners. Our lives as police pensioners. You can find more of that on page 17. We also have on this paper, rat infestation claim at Villa was a cover for Buhari's health. This is still by Gaba Shehu. You can find more of it on page 20. Plateau courts remand 20 suspects accused of killing wedding guests. Terrible. You can find more of this on page 20. And 2027, more governors eyes Senate. This is on page 12.
Moving on to Saturday Tribune, the Borders headline here says, VP Shettima warns detractors, stop fabricating conflicts between me and Tinubu, says comment on Jonathan, not an indictment of president. Your recant is political correctness, says ADC. ADC coalition not a threat to PDP, says Governor Makinde. Southwest leaders reaffirm loyalty to party. At Ibadan Court, my wife is promiscuous, sleeps with my close friend, says husband. It is true, but I feed him, pay our children's fees from the proceeds, says wife. That's an interesting one. Also on this paper, Tribune editor and columnist Olagunju Obi of Onitsha, 13 profs become fellows of Nigerian Academy of Letters. You find that on page 10. Presidency backs Afrima 2025 as FG inaugurates lock. That is the much that we can take on this paper.
And straight to Saturday Vanguard, Borders headline says, Constitution review, let our votes count, Nigeria demands. More of this you can find on page 10. Lagos, 13 parties shun peace accord as residents elect council chairman, councillors today. Is Shettima rebelling against Tinubu? No. His remarks not linked with Fubara. This is Presidency. ADC differs, slams government over clarification. You can find more of this on page 5. Edo, I will probe Obaseki. Wobolo says you can find more of this also on page 5. And that's the much we can take from Saturday Vanguard.
Moving on to Saturday Punch, the Borders headline says, flood alert. Panic in 20 states as residents vacate high-risk areas. Governments allay fears. Residents demand better response plan. Environmentalists fault states over poor flood preparedness. Also on this paper, NNPC malls refinery sale after Dangote's verdict. Jitters in Osun APC, PDP over Adeleke's defection plan. Rejection forced me to take funeral home, says lady born with one hand. And finally, ex-diplomats differ on FG's response to US visa restriction. That is what we have on Punch.
And moving on to Saturday's Sun, we have 2027 coalition group targets PDP state structures. More of this you can find on page 3. Economy, business owners raise the alarm. SME dying, manufacturers, importers struggling to survive. More of this you can get also on page 7. Presidency, ADC, Bika over Shettima's comment. You can find more of this on page 27. Ohaneze hails Ngaji. Page 26, highest 2025 JAM scorer. So Ohaneze is hailing the highest JAM scorer for 2025. More of this you can find on page 26. And lastly on this paper, Tinubu backs Afia 2025 as federal government inaugurates lock. And that's the much we can take. Okay, this last one, a rider, Ogun, 2 to die, 1 bags live jail for teenager's murder. Page 29 and 30.
Moving on to First News, the boldest headline says, shocking confession. Aso Rock rat story was a lie, says Garba Shehu. Says tale fabricated to hide truth about Buhari. Court throws out 500 million naira suit against Wike by scavengers and beggars. Also on this paper, refinery trouble. NNPC more sales after $18 billion losses. Tinubu committed to LG autonomy, says Info Minister. And finally, alleged 3.1 billion naira fraud. Court adjourns Suswan case. That is what we have on First News.
And our last paper for today, The Nation. 2027, Southwest PDP rejects Atiku Obi El-Rufai coalition. You can get more of this on page 4. Presidency, no link between Shettima's statement, reverse crisis. You can go ahead to page 4 and find more. Why we reduce visa validity for Nigerians this is by US Embassy. You can find more of this on page 29. Tinubu backs Afrima 2025 as federal government inaugurates lock, and this is on page 6. Coroner rules out foul play in Mohbad's death. Recommends prosecution of nurse. This is on page 2. And finally on this paper, NNPCL may sell Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna refineries. This is by Ojulari, says all options are on the table. And that's much we can take on the newspapers this morning.
I mean, we have a lot on the headlines. But the one that has stood out so far, I think it's all over the paper, says the shocking lie.
Shocking lie.
Shocking confession.
Yeah.
That's what First News, that's the way First News phrases it. It says shocking confession. Aso Rock rat story was a lie, says Garba Shehu. And when I saw shocking confession in it, I was like, okay, it's not shocking. I don't think it's shocking.
Rumors have been there.
Some of these things, when I hear, hearing them, you should know that they are lies.
Yeah,
but it's now what prompts them to finally come and confess that. I'm just wondering. And it just feels like every single thing is politically motivated. Every single thing. But away from that, too, we have another paper here. I'm so interested in this flooding alert thing. It says panic. This is on Punch paper. Panic in 20 states as residents vacate high-risk areas. And I keep wondering why every single time we have to wait until the flood has started.
You know, I don't know. I just like I said the last time, we don't actually have any natural disaster. So imagine if we have hurricane in Nigeria. Are we still going to be up to the 200 million people we are in Nigeria? It just feels like, and this is something we know. It's not like it's happened all of a sudden. It's something we know. NEMA say they test, they understand that this is what's happening, and they tell people to vacate. Vacate to where? Where are you making rooms for them to go to? This is things we have to plan earlier before it happens. To be honest, we have this sentimental attachment to homes here in Nigeria as a people. It's difficult for people to live where they have been for the longest time. So they will be like, I don't mind, I'll just pray and wait. I'll be here till whenever, or I don't know where to go from here. You understand?
Moving is difficult.
It's expensive. It's expensive. Move to where exactly?
Are you hearing rent? Please, I don't even want
to
get into some of these stories. This is
where we make rooms. You prepare camps for things like this and get them ready so that when it happens like this, they can easily migrate over to that place. And you know, and I feel like there should be a more permanent solution to this. We can, you know, create better channels so that we will always face flood. You understand? Okay, the other day in Ugoye, in Usoka, we actually watched the video of the flood. I witnessed it firsthand. It was, I don't know how to put it, but the whole drainage system was a mess. Everywhere was just a little rain and everywhere was whole flooded, you understand? So these situations, what are we going to do? Are we supposed to continue to look at it and just, you know, wait, okay, it will come, this season have passed, it's no longer raining, we can now live peacefully. Next year we wait for rain again. It doesn't. It's not supposed to be like that.
It's
you
quite
understand?
sad that this
there should be measures and solutions so that we can, you know, continue to live life in better ways. You understand?
Hopefully we'll get that report from Nsukka. We really need to find out what the situation of flooding over there is like and how businesses are coping, how residential areas that are flood-prone areas are coping. Hopefully we'll get that report next week. But in the meantime, everybody just stay safe at this point.
Honestly speaking.
That's all I can say. And that's where we'll be wrapping our newspaper review for this morning. Up next on the AM Weekend Show is our short trip to the gym. I had Ogochukwu went to the gym again.
It's been consistent.
Wait, let me hear you first before we play it. Let's feel ourselves and brace up for the wonderful things that we did at the gym. And of course, as I always tell you, okay,
no, the main thing is that we are consistent. Forget about every other thing you want. We have been consistent and hope you have been consistent as well. Please, just be consistent. Forget about how you're doing it, whether you're doing it perfectly. You don't have to be perfect to start.
Oh, now you're trying to make excuses?
It's not excuses. I'm motivating you.
It's okay, please.
You don't have to be perfect to start, please. So that nobody should shout at me when you come back.
We're getting ready to see what Ogochukwu displayed at the gym. And I advise you to take your position. Just join us on this routine. We'll be right back.